Right. As anticipated in this lesson, we'll talk about the typical life cycle of a product. Most considerations may sound familiar, and they should. Earlier, we talked about an industry's life cycle. Many of the insights we learned there are valid here as well. Product and industry life cycles tend to be aligned in some cases. In other situations, they are not. Remember in the 90s we were watching movies on VHS? Well, we don't do that anymore, but we still watch movies, right? This is a good example of an industry that outlasted one of the products that were part of that industry. Similar to the industry life cycle we saw earlier, the typical product life cycle is made of 4 main stages: introduction, growth, maturity, and decline. Let's describe each from a product's perspective and try to emphasize the aspects that require a marketing manager's attention, bearing in mind that different phases require different strategies in terms of competition, pricing, distribution, and advertising. The introduction phase is characterized by low revenues and mostly negative profits. It's difficult to explain to customers there is a new product they should buy, even if it is a really good one. People are reluctant to try new things, and only a small fraction of the customers, the so-called early adopters, are open to change. This is why many products fail at this stage. A new product requires significant marketing expenses for advertising and communication, and rarely converts well in terms of sales. However, a huge advantage that shouldn't be forgotten is that early adopters remember which company introduced a product and stay loyal to the brand and continue to buy their products. Such was the case with Apple, who produced the first personal computer in 1977. Later, in the 90s, the company was struggling to develop products that could compete with the ones offered by other producers, but its loyal customer base stuck with the company. This was one reason Apple survived for a long time before its successful turnaround. A product that reaches break-even, revenues equal or greater than production and distribution costs, can be said to have entered its growth phase. Revenues grow much faster as the number of people who use the product increases substantially, and companies can use these proceeds to invest in advertising and establish a brand that is recognizable by customers. This is the right moment when marketing managers can focus on market share growth and creating barriers to entry for other companies interested in selling the product. Sales reach their peak in the maturity phase and then slow down until the product reaches its decline. The maturity stage is characterized by an increased level of competition, and marketing managers are doing their best to keep the firm's market share intact. This is when companies differentiate their products even more and reach out to specific market niches. Sometimes, price differentiation becomes a very interesting topic, as certain players will differentiate their pricing and focus on clients that will spend more. Often, marketing managers use advertising to reach out to their target customers who already know the product exists and have tried it. They should be convinced it is precisely what they need. At this stage, it's fruitful to think of alternative ways to sell the product or of alternative uses of the product. The automobile industry is a good example of a mature market. Car producers, like Daimler, are looking for new ways to sell their products and for innovative uses of the products. And that's how Daimler introduced Car2Go, a car sharing that allows subscribers to grab cars available on the street and move them from point A to point B. The best part is they need not return a car where they grabbed it from. So that's definitely an alternative way to sell and use the product, and it results in higher revenues given the company can market to a new segment of customers. Cool, right? Things become less peachy in the decline period. The product becomes obsolete as it's probably been substituted by a newer product. Remember video rental giant Blockbuster? Well, its core product is obsolete now, as everybody watches movies online. Unfortunately, the firm didn't reshape its competitive strategy on time, which led to its bankruptcy in 2010. The decline stage is characterized by decreasing sales, as customers are shifting away from the product. Marketing managers will focus on eliminating low profitability product lines and points of sales. They need to take a good hard look and consider eliminating the product or repositioning it. These are the 4 stages in a product lifecycle. Good marketing managers will consider them when planning. In our next lesson, we'll talk about the importance of branding. Thanks for watching.